When the young woman walked into my counseling room that day, I didn't recognize her. She was quiet, steady, and carried the calm of someone who had already survived the worst. Her eyes, though, they held a story waiting to be told. She sat down, folded her hands, and said, "Amara, I heard you help people find peace with their past." "Yes," I said softly, "but peace only visits those who open the door. Tell me, beloved, what are you carrying?" She took a deep breath. "My name is Peace. At least, that's what my mother called me before she sold me." Hello, beloved. Welcome again to Unbroken Courage. I'm Amara. Tonight's story is called The Daughter Who Returned. It's the continuation of a story we once told, the story of Joan, the mother who sold her daughter in desperation. But this time, you'll hear from the daughter herself. Stay with me until the end, beloved, because what this young woman shares about pain, forgiveness, and destiny will remind you that no darkness is deep enough to bury love forever. Peace told me that the day she left home, she thought she was going to school. "The woman smiled a lot," she said quietly. "She told me my mother wanted me to live in a big house, that I'd make her proud." The first few weeks were fine. Food, clothes, even toys she'd never owned. Then, the tone changed. The smiles disappeared. She was made to work, to clean, to keep quiet. "I asked about my mother," she said. "They told me she'd sold me because she didn't want me anymore. They said I was lucky anyone wanted me at all." Her voice trembled. For a long time, I believed them. She looked away for a moment. "They made me call them family, but I never felt like one. I was punished for mistakes I didn't make. I wasn't beaten every day. Sometimes silence hurt more. I'd sit by the window at night and whisper, 'Mama, did you forget me?'" 5 years passed that way. She grew from a child into a young woman who had forgotten how to laugh. Then one morning, she said, "I looked in the mirror and decided I didn't want to die invisible." She waited until everyone left the house, took a small bag, and walked out. I didn't even know where I was going. I just walked. For miles. A stranger found her by the roadside, a pastor's wife from a nearby town, and brought her home. They gave her food, shelter, and a chance to go to school again. "They told me something no one ever said before," Peace said softly. "They said my life still had value." Years passed, and Peace began volunteering at a youth center, helping other girls who had been abandoned. "Every time I told them to forgive, something inside me resisted," she said, "because I hadn't forgiven my own mother." One evening, she saw a video online, one of my Unbroken Courage episodes. It was the story of a woman who sold her child, she said, tears filling her eyes. She called the girl her biggest regret and said she still waited by the window every day. She paused. "Amara, that was my mother, wasn't it?" I nodded gently. She buried her face in her hands. I wanted to hate her all over again, but I couldn't, because for the first time I heard her pain. I realized she didn't sell me out of evil. She did it out of fear. 2 weeks later, Peace traveled back to the old village. The road looked smaller than she remembered. The houses had changed, but the smell of dust and firewood was the same. She walked straight to the small community center she'd seen in the video, the one where Joan worked with other mothers. "I didn't tell anyone who I was," she said. "I just watched her from a distance." Joan was older, thinner, but her eyes carried the same warmth Peace remembered from childhood. She was teaching young women about saving, planning, and faith. I heard her say, "Don't make the mistake I made. Don't let fear decide your future." Peace said, "That was when I cried for real, because I saw that she had changed." After the session, Peace waited until everyone left. Then she walked up slowly. "Good afternoon, Ma," she said. Joan smiled. "Good afternoon, my dear. Have we met before?" Peace hesitated, her throat locked. "Maybe not," she whispered. "But you remind me of someone I used to know." Joan tilted her head, curious. "What's your name, child?" Peace tried to speak, but broke down instead. She fell to her knees and said, "You named me Peace." Joan froze. The room went silent except for the sound of her heartbeat. Then she whispered, "It can't be." Peace looked up through tears. "It's me, Mama." Joan dropped to the floor beside her and held her face with trembling hands. "My baby," she sobbed. "Forgive me." They cried together for a long time, saying little, holding everything. "I wanted to hate you," Peace said, "but I couldn't, because even in my worst moments, I remembered the way you used to sing me to sleep. I thought maybe you'd forgotten me, but you were here waiting all along." Joan whispered, "I never stopped waiting. Every meal, every prayer, every night, I called your name. Peace nodded, and I heard it somehow. That's how I found my way back. When she finished her story, I asked, "Have you forgiven her completely?" Peace smiled faintly. "I think forgiveness is like walking home. You take one step each day, but yes, I've started." I asked her what she wanted next. "I want to work with her," she said. "I want to help the same kind of mothers who feel trapped like she once did. Maybe we can stop another daughter from being lost." Beloved, that's the daughter who returned. It's a story of pain that didn't end in bitterness, of a young woman who discovered that forgiveness isn't weakness, it's freedom. If this story touched your heart, drop a comment below and tell me what you learned about love and forgiveness, and share it with someone who needs to believe that restoration is still possible, because sometimes God lets us walk through darkness only to become the light for others. I'm Amara, and this is Unbroken Courage, where every story reminds you that grace never stops searching until it finds home.